Hello friends, and welcome once again to the Gesundheit Kitchen. My name is Hans Rueffert, and I am a gastric cancer survivor, and proud to say that I'm doing well, and I attribute a lot of that to the way that I fuel my engine, so to speak. And so I'm always looking forward to sharing kitchen ideas and sort of tricks and tips, and I am heavily involved with the Gastric Cancer Foundation, and I have been for quite some time. And I kind of think of this as my little corner of GCF. This is my contribution. This is something that I've obsessed about, and I've spent a lot of time kind of learning the hard way what works well for a person without a stomach. And I'm in kind of a rare situation in that I spent a number of years with half of a stomach and then graduated, if you will, to a total gastrectomy. And so I have the perspective of living with half a stomach and then living with no stomach. So we're getting into pumpkin season. So what I have done is I have roasted did a bit of a cheat, and then I'm using acorn squash today. And I did that intentionally because it's a very manageable thing versus using a big pumpkin. But all I did essentially was to cut this, scoop out the seeds, and then cut it into rings. And then those rings I then can either roast in the oven. I do it at about 375 on a piece of parchment paper, just until they're knife tender. Or if you have a griddle or a nice skillet, you can also, when they're cut this thin, you can also just finish them off on a griddle or in a skillet. You can either leave the skin on, or you can just use your hands. It's very easy after you cooked it to just kind of peel it back. I mean, you can really with your fingers just go through and peel the skin off if you're not a fan. I've also have toasted pumpkin seeds, and then as I mentioned, I have some pumpkin seed oil. So we got the three components of the pumpkin. I want to put together a salad dressing. So I've got 1/4 cup of a good light colored vinegar, and then I do my vinaigrettes equal parts oil and vinegar, or roughly equal parts. It doesn't have to be exact, it just needs to be in that sort of ballpark ratio. I'm going to put a good spoonful of fresh minced garlic, and that's probably about half a teaspoon or so, and it really does make a difference to have the fresh stuff. I'm going to put in a couple good cranks of my sea salt. Again, this is a tiny amount. And then I love making cranberry sauce every holiday season. It's so easy to do, and it's such a better alternative than the old cranberry sauce that you get that comes out in a perfect cylinder. But I made my own here. This was using honey, and it's also using some orange segments. So this has got a nice sort of citrus, acidic kind of a punch. And I'm going to use basically a heaping tablespoon of that. And this makes a beautiful dressing. It holds up well. Again, you've got all these natural preservatives, and what a beautiful color. And if it separates, well, you've got it in this great container. You give it 2 shakes, and you're back in business. So let's assemble this very easy salad that celebrates this season. I like using some of these darker leaf, things like red oak or red romaine, and I'm going to add some additional protein in the form of either quinoa, or this is quinoa's smaller cousin called quinoa. So if I were eating this as a side, I would add salt or onions or whatever, but since I'm going to add a salad dressing, I don't need to add much in the way of flavor here, but it sneaks in some additional protein, plus it has a wonderful consistency and texture. So now let's put in our nice big chunks of pumpkin, or in this case, acorn squash. Now, since I have this sitting here and it's staring me in the face, I'm going to put a spoonful of this right here too, just as an extra little side if somebody wants a little extra pop of sweetness. All right, so in we go here with our salad dressing. Since it is a pretty vinegar-intense salad dressing, you don't need a lot of it. All right, there's some crunch, so instead of using croutons, we're using these toasted pumpkin seeds. And then lastly, I love feta cheese. So any kind of a cheese that has a little astringency would work perfect with this flavor combination. You can, of course, omit any of the things here that you don't want. But already that's a beautiful salad, but I'm going to finish it with the toasted pumpkin seed oil. And so I'm putting my thumb on here, and I'm just putting a few drops. That is a beautiful salad. That is a healthy salad, and it really celebrates the pumpkin in all of its incarnations there. I got the whole thing, sort of snout to tail, when it comes to the pumpkin. And I'm looking forward to having this as a fantastic lunch. And I hope that you are looking forward to each and every episode of our time here in the Gesundheit Kitchen. It's a service that we at the Gastric Cancer Foundation are proud of and want to continue to offer. We welcome your feedback. We'd love for you to subscribe. And I always like to say Gesundheit, which is essentially just a wish of good health. If I could wish anybody anything, it is good health. Until next time, take care.